Hey guys, so this video is going to cover some of the key questions that we worked on this week, so Wednesday and Thursday. Both days we were focused on Unit 3, Lesson 12, which was about percents. I'm going to go over two problems that we spent a lot of time on in case you need a refresher or just something to help you with a homework problem or something to come back to. So the Do Now says a clothing store advertises sweatshirts at 60% off. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that key information. We know it's 60% off. And you want to buy a sweatshirt that originally cost $40. So the original cost was $40. You're charged $22. So the question is, was their advertisement accurate? Prove your answer. So this is obviously a really important thing to know about percents. We need to be able to tell whether or not we're getting ripped off when a clothing store advertises a discount. So we know that the sweatshirt originally cost $40. And so one way to interpret that is that 100% of the cost was $40. That was the original price. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. I'm going to take some notes to help me. Pen a little bit thinner. 100% of the cost is $40. And I know that I'm supposed to be getting 60% off. So if I expect 60% off, that means that I have a 60% discount, or I'm paying 60% less than the original price. So my new price should be 60% less than 100%, or 40% of the original price. Now, I know that my original price was $40. So this means what I'm looking for is, what is 40% of $40? And again, the reason why I'm looking for 40% of $40 is because it's supposed to be 60% off. So 60% less than the original price. Now I'm going to go ahead and start by setting up a double number line. And as usual, one of my number lines is going to need to represent percent. I'll include my 0 as always. And my top number line will be the cost in dollars. Now, it's always helpful to start with the question of what is 100%. In this case, we know it's $40. And I'm looking to figure out what is 40%. So since I know I'm looking for 40%, I'm going to go ahead and estimate where that would be on my number line. Right about here is 40%. But then we know we need to follow the rules of number lines. We've got to be counting by the same thing. So I can't just leave this 40% here, because then I'd be going from 0 to 40, which would be plus 40. And then I'd be going from 40 to 100, which would be plus 60. And that's not allowed. We don't fill out our number lines that way. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count by 20%, because that way I'll end up with the number I'm interested in, which is 40, on my double number line. But all my tick marks will also be evenly spaced. So we got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And then I just need to figure out how I'm splitting up my number line above. And I know that I'm taking 40, and I'm splitting up 40 into 5 equal-sized pieces. 40 divided by 5 is 8. And I can check my work by counting by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, that checks out. And I can very clearly see that 40% of $40 is $16. So if I go back to my original question, was their advertisement accurate? The answer is no. Because 40% of $40 is only $16. And knowing that is really helpful, because you're going to save $8 versus what they charged you, which was $22. Let's talk about one more example. First, we'll just go over the learning target. We're working on calculating the percentage of a given number in the context of a real world situation, so like that example about a discount, and proving our solution using either a double number line or a tape diagram. So in the example above, we used a double number line. We were able to line up percentages and dollar values. And let's take a look at a tape diagram. So this was another question that we spent a bunch of time in class, Noah and Elena's money. Noah has $5 and Elena has 40% as much as Noah. How much does Elena have? And it asks us to solve with a tape diagram. So when I draw a tape diagram, I just want to start with a long bar. This might be the first time you're seeing tape diagrams, or it might be something you did in 4th and 5th grade. But again, you're really just focused on whatever strategy works better for you. Now, just like the last question, we want to do a close read of the problem. Noah has $5 and Elena has 40% as much as Noah. So another way to write this, and sometimes it's just helpful to write questions in your own words, another way to write this out would be that Elena has 40% of $5 because she has 40% as much as Noah, and we know that Noah has $5. So how much does Elena have? Solve with a tape diagram and type your final answer. So we know that the total, the whole, what we're looking for the percentage of is $5. So this entire tape diagram all together, which represents 100%, of course, is $5. And we're looking for 40% of $5. So much like a double number line, I want to think about how I can split up my tape diagram in a way that will illustrate 40%. Now, what immediately comes to mind is that 40% is about half, but a little bit less than half of this tape diagram. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 40%. But of course, I want to draw this in a way that I can see what each box represents. So if I want to split up my box in a way that will allow me to see 100% in total, I could go ahead and count by 20s. So I've got my first 20% here, my second 20% here, so that's 40%. I've got my third 20%, so that's 60%. My fourth 20%, this is 80%, and then I've got 100%. So I went ahead and I split up each of my boxes, or I split up my one box into 5 boxes so that I could count by 20%, right? We've got 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. And that's very similar to what you'd be doing on a double number line when you were counting by 20%. So now I can see, okay, I have $5. And I'm splitting up my $5 into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. So, of course, 5 divided into 5 groups is simply $1 per group. $1, $1, $1, and so on. And so I know that 40% of $5 is $2. The final answer is $2. Now, of course, for this question, either strategy would work. It might be simpler for some people to see this as a double number line, just because you can immediately identify, okay, I know that 100% is $5. I've got 0, I've got my percent, and I've got my money. And I need to find 40%. So I'll split up my double number line into 5 groups. And you would do the same thing on top, and you know you would be counting by ones. Notice how the process is very similar, whether you're using a double number line or a tape diagram. And either way, you would get the same answer, 40%, still $2.